Hello, everybody, and welcome to a very special episode of Feels Like Weezer, the podcast where we go track by track through Weezer's discography from the Blue Album to Black and beyond. I'm Zach Franking Smith. You can find me on Twitter. I'm not going to say where.
Yeah, you're
Yeah.
not going to say where?
No, I'm not saying where, man. They
Oh,
know.
okay. And I'm Eric Nash. And you can also find me on Twitter and at Watchmen Minute.
Today's a very exciting day for you, isn't it, Eric?
Well, yeah. When we happen to be recording this, the HBO Watchmen show that will be premiering in October. I don't know if we knew that for sure before, but we do now. Because of San Diego Comic Con going on at this time as well, is why this came out today. But the new trailer came out,
Yeah.
very full trailer. We had something of a I don't know, like a 30-second one, I think, roughly,
Yeah.
a couple months ago. But this is a nice full trailer.
Yeah, I saw about a good like 30 seconds, kind of like while I was waiting for you to get logged in.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't get to. That was probably what you heard when you first came into the room.
Yeah.
Uh, so, but yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. Watchmen is like my absolute favorite graphic, and so I am just. I don't know if listeners can hear that. That is my cat. She's in heat. There's nothing I can do. I'm sorry, everybody. So enjoy the mewlings of my cat named Winifred. Oh, hi. Yeah.
Not Margot.
No, no. Winifred Sanderson,
Oh,
based on Hocus Pocus. Yeah. So this might be a difficult episode for people to listen to. Oh my God, this is ridiculous. I'm gonna go lock her up. Just 1 second. Don't worry, she's in her food slash litter room, so it's
yeah.
totally okay. Um, okay, yeah. Watchmen is just, I mean, that and like The Dark Knight Returns, they're so important um, in graphics and comics just in general. Yeah, I absolutely love that. I'm really looking forward to this show. Um, Hopefully, it'll be better than the movie.
Ooh.
Yeah, I said it. I'm sorry, Eric, but
Oh,
there's.
I'd be very happy if it's better than the movie.
I guess I haven't listened all the
'Cause
way
I
through
yeah,
Watchmen Minute, and by all the way through, I mean I haven't. I've listened to an episode or two, but not a whole
I'm
lot.
sure.
But yeah, man, I'm gonna go see that movie. Sorry, this is nothing to do with Weezer, but I'm gonna tell the story anyway. Um, a buddy of mine and I went the opening night. Um, I was in 11th grade. I had a Rorschach costume,
Mm.
um, fedora, trench coat. We put like pantyhose over my face, and like one of them was painted the other way, and then there was a second one underneath it, so I could do it like it was changing. Um,
Hmm.
and then my friend dressed up like Doctor Manhattan at the funeral. Um, he had clothes on,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
but he painted himself blue and everything. And I was, and so we get out of the theater at like 3 in the morning, and it's school night, man. Jeez, the next day was rough. But yeah, that's the only reason I really like that movie was because of the experience of going to go see it opening
Yeah.
night.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So today we are going to be doing kind of a recap of the Blue Album. We're going to talk about why is the Blue Album such an important and well beloved album to Weezer fans, and then we're also gonna give our rankings on the songs. So we're gonna tell you definitively what is the worst song, what is the best song um, on the Blue Album. So, Eric, what did you think of the Blue Album overall?
The Blue Album overall, I mean, it's it's just one of these albums that I can sing along all the way through. I'll listen all the way through. Um, it's I think it's a lot like Fleetwood Mac's Rumors,
Yeah, yeah,
or gosh, Revolver by the Beatles. I mean, I can have my moments where I really don't want to hear a couple of the songs on Sgt. Pepper
Mm-hmm.
or Abbey Road. But Revolver is just awesome all the way through, and this is in that same league for me.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's such a great debut too, and it's like this was
Yeah,
their
yeah.
first album.
Yeah, for it to be their
know?
debut as well, unlike Fleetwood Mac Rumors and unlike Revolver. Yeah.
Yeah, it's really incredible that they were able to hit so many great songs right in a row with so few ones that are even just considered okay, not even bad, but just okay. Like it's a good album, and you can kind of tell that way because it's all that it is, because the albums released in the future, the more they sound like Blue, the better they are. you know, like Everything Will Be Alright in the End, and a bit of Pacific Daydream, I'd say, feels like a Blue album, but yeah, it's such a great album, and it was such a formative album for me, and I'm sure for a lot of people like me. It was really the first time I enjoyed an album for me and not for anybody else. When you're young, you like your parents' music, you like your friends' music, but I felt like I had discovered this by myself. A friend of mine introduced it to me, yes, but like getting into it to the level that I did, it was of no influence from anybody else, and it was all mine, and it was something I enjoy from beginning to end, and it really kind of shaped my musical taste for like the rest of my life. It's a good one, so it's going to be hard to beat, and that's what a lot of people have been saying, is that the first three seasons of this will be good, and then after that it's going to get tough. But yeah, what you got anything else you kind of want to say about it or anything?
I guess maybe like one of the biggest things I feel like I should in doing this recap is just to indicate that I think I understood what you were just saying, but I think that this one album really just encapsulates Rivers, his where he was in his mindset at that point.
Right.
For better or worse, as you have pointed out, with no one else. And it's unfortunate he could have been in a mindset that he was at the time, but I think all these songs are very representative of him at that point, and so many others of the albums. I don't think they're necessarily that they're sounding more like this album from a true music,
Right.
aspect, or even a lyric aspect, but from a truthfulness aspect. I think is hopefully what we'll find. If we dig a little deep into some of these albums coming up. I've been watching a little more lately. Just I happened to come across like an interview he did with Larry King from like about I think 3 or 4 years ago, when he was when Everything Will Be Alright in the End came out, is what he was promoting. He was talking about like one of the things he's been doing lately is this month-long retreat type thing where he's away from his family and friends, and he's just like meditating for 2/3
Really?
of the day every day for a month. Yeah, and just and that he's essentially while he might, I guess at some points he wasn't, but he's essentially
Right.
straight edge. He doesn't drink or do any drugs really. I just think there's this for this album, it's just this amazing thing that for him came out. He put out to the world at a point where it was just almost pitch perfect.
Oh yeah,
you know, with those of us that were, I was barely young. I was even though I didn't find out about it right away, I found about it quickly enough, thankfully, and before I got out of college, it was, before it had been too long, and it allowed me to also get into Pinkerton when that came out, just almost around the same time I was finding out, really, really digging into the Blue album.
And I think that Blue came about at just the perfect time in music to make it so successful. We're at the the height of grunge and music like Nirvana and all that, and the Pixies, and you're right. It kind of hit just pitch perfect on all of that, and just the truthfulness. You nailed it, Eric. Yeah, look at you.
Thank you.
What a good day. I told you it was a very special episode. But yeah, this is one of those where I can pop it on the radio, whenever, and listen to it on any car ride and be completely content with my life, and not feel angsty like I do when I listen to Pinkerton. Oh boy, am I excited for that. So. 'Cause it feels like Weezer. 'Cause it feels like Weezer. All right. Well, I think what we're gonna do next is we're gonna do our rankings for the album. So we're gonna go worst to best here. I'll give mine. Eric will give his. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And we'll see if we match up on really any of these, because we did have a few that we matched scores on. Correct? Yeah.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Well, I think that's. We've a little behind the scenes here. We've kept track. We didn't do it right away, but as we were editing, we then were keeping track of. Which of us what scores we each gave, and then we even have our average. We can go ahead and say that now. I thought was interesting. The average for this album for both of us, for all the songs, between both of us and all the songs, is 8.15, and then your average, Zach, is 8 and mine is 8.3, which certainly makes sense as well. And coming up with that average makes sense. But then, as we go through this, it's really identifying whenever one of us had 2 at any same rating, will distinguish which one we think is best. Yeah. Apparently, it seems like between the two will be the interesting.
Yeah. Thing. So the number 10 for me, that was No One Else.
Yeah. And
no!
You want to say a little more about that, or no?
About No One Else.
Yeah. And so my number 10 is Holiday.
That's really interesting, because there's a really big disparity between your number 10 with Holiday and then where I put Holiday. Number 9 for me was Undone, which I know is in your top 2 for this album. So
my number 9 would be your number 10.
Okay,
No One
so
Else.
I think we can definitively say that No One Else is the weakest song on this album. And if you disagree with me, you're wrong.
Yeah.
Okay? Okay. That's the general you, not specifically you, Eric. Number 8, which really surprises me, because I went into this with this being like my favorite Weezer song, and now it's number 8. The World Has Turned and Left Me Here. Yeah, it's really surprising, just kind of, how much an actual look and contextualization of the lyrics of a song can really change your opinion of it.
So my number 8 is Surf Wax America,
And that's my number 7. So pretty close.
Okay.
And we also both had the same rating for that song, so which was coincidentally a 7. So weird.
So my number 7 then turns out to be, well, okay. So this is where I had a couple that are in contention here. The World Has Turned Left Me Here for 7 for me.
Like we just got those two swapped there. Surf Wax and The World Has Turned. Number 6, which this is another contentious one, was Only in Dreams. Which, I mean, I still gave an 8 to, like the only one that I can say I gave a bad rating to was No One Else. Everything else is like 6 or above. So, I mean, that's passing. The only one that failed is No One Else. So,
so my number 6, that's one we're on, right?
Yes. Yep.
is In the Garage.
Okay. That's my number 5. In the Garage, which, jumped up on my list a lot higher than I thought it would.
Okay, so my number 5 would then be, I guess I'm gonna go with Buddy Holly. For my number 5. Yeah, I know. I was like, oh boy.
Oh boy. Totally get it. Which again, like looking at the list here, you gave it a 9. Like it's.
Yeah. Right.
My number 4, which this really surprised me, is Holiday, which, if you remember, I just edited this last night, so it's very fresh in my mind, was one of the only songs that I skipped on the album. And now it's, like listening to it and, actually, again, how much reading into a song can really help and color your opinion. So, for good or for bad, we got both extremes here.
So my number 4 is My Name Is Jonas. I have a feeling that's coming up for you. That's
my number 3.
It is.
Right. By the law of averages. Yeah, that's, that is such a great first track too. I can't think of really any better opener that Weezer has off the top of my head. I'm sure I'm going to say that every time, because that's the only good song on Raditude too. So it's the first one, but yeah. So that's number 3 for me. My Name Is Jonas.
And so then my number 3 is Say It Ain't So.
Yeah, that's coming up for me. Number 2 is Buddy Holly.
But not there, yeah.
One of my only 2 10s.
One of my 2 10s that I don't think is quite as good as the other is Undone, the Sweater Song.
It's interesting when we get to that point where it's like, okay, there's a clear top 2 favorite, and it's like, which one would I rather put on the radio and listen to? For me, my number 1 is Say It Ain't So. It's just such a good tune to sit and just like sing along and rock out, and it's got that really cool bridge, and the really quick vocal part as well. So I think those gave it a little bit of an edge over Buddy Holly, and the sentimentality of the song as well.
And I think for my top 3 of Say It Ain't So, and then Undone, and then Only in Dreams, as you should be able to tell what is number 1 at this point. I think for all 3, it's just this amazing combination of the music and the lyrics, where I'm not too introspective of. I don't care a whole lot about, quite often, for sure, what is being said. But I like to sing with the melody, and if I can get the lyrics right, that'd be great. But a lot of times I just haven't investigated for a lot of bands that I've loved for many years now too. But this certainly is one that I'm investigating more. But certainly these 3 are the ones I know the lyrics the best. That's for sure too.
And I wonder, how much of that plays into your decision too. Like, would you actually like No One Else better if you knew what he was saying?
Right.
No, I'm
Exactly.
kidding.
Yeah.
That's the only song on this album I think that I listened to like the first time, and I knew all the words that were being said. Um, Everything else has, like a bridge or something that I just can't understand whatsoever.
But I think that's an interesting song, though. Undone is an interesting song that between the two of us, I think that you ranked at 9, or you in your rating of worst to best, best to worst, what have you, is 9. Yet for me, it's a 2. The opposite. If there's anything nearly that kind of striking of a difference, I think is it. Did we kind of say it when we were going through? Is it? But or no, it's Holiday maybe.
Yeah, it was Holiday.
I think
because you put that as what, like 8?
Well, no, as my last.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, right off the bat, my 10th slot, but you saved it until we didn't get around to it for you until your 4th. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, in Undone, like, it's really not a bad song. It's a good song.
I don't think any of these are bad songs.
Oh, right. Well, I think one of them is a bad song. The other ones, I think, are really good songs. It's just I like this really good song better than this really good song.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of, at least their first 2 albums, this and Pinkerton. I think that's kind of what we're going to be, talking about. Green, I have mixed feelings on Green, so we'll just see that when it comes to it. But yeah, so there is the Blue Album. We do have one more because as you noticed, we haven't done the deluxe editions, the deluxe songs.
I hadn't noticed. What?
I know, it's really weird. People have been beating down our door. Where's Jamie? Where's Jamie? It's like, guys, come on, let's pump the brakes here. We have plans. So this Thursday we're going to be doing the next one. We're going to do all of the songs that are on the deluxe edition, not the live songs though. So we're just going to be talking about them. We're not going to be ranking them or anything like that. So this feels like Weezer. And thanks everyone for listening. Again, I'm Zach Franking Smith. You can find me at your local library.
And I'm Eric Nash, and you might also be able to find me at your local library if it's the same as my local library. But I'm not in there a ton, but
yeah,
I certainly request stuff quite a bit.
Are you kidding me?
Especially lately, movies.
It's free.
Yeah.
God.
Why pay for Netflix or other stuff?
Right. We just got Stranger Things seasons 1 and 2 at my library, so
yeah.
I
will have to be checking those out from my library soon, hopefully.
Oh my God, Stranger Things is so good. I'm not gonna get into it because it is amazing, but I feel like the cross section of fans of Weezer and Stranger Things is like there is no like Venn diagram. It's just a circle. It seems like the perfect matchup for them. So, anyway, you can shoot us an email if you'd like. feelslikeweezer@gmail.com. Find us on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter. Both of those are Feels Like Weezer. And that's all. That's all of our plugs. It's nothing left to plug, Eric.
That's right. All plugged up.
We're all plugged up.
'Cause it feels